In this video, we will talk about how to find a polynomial function given the zeros and their multiplicities. So here's the general form that we can use to write a polynomial function when we're given the zeros and their multiplicities. We say f of x is equal to a times x minus r1 to the power of m1 times x minus r2 to the power of m2, and so on, where a is just some numerical constant, r1, r2, and so on, those are the zeros of the function, and m1 and m2 and so on are the multiplicities of those zeros. So let's check out an example of how we can actually use this formula. This one says, find the equation of a polynomial that passes through the point 0, negative 9, and has the given zeros. The first zero is at x equals 3, and it has a multiplicity of 1, and the next zero is x is equal to 1, and it has a multiplicity of 2. So according to this formula up here, here's what we can write. F of x is equal to a, where a is some constant, we don't know that yet, but we'll figure it out, times x minus r1. So r1 is the first zero that we're given. So we're told that the first zero is at x equals 3. So we'll say x minus 3. And then we're going to raise that to the power of its multiplicity. So we're told it has a multiplicity of 1. So we could write a 1 right here, or if we want, we could just leave that out since it's just assumed that the parentheses is raised to a power of 1. And then that's multiplied by x minus the next 0, so r2. So we're told that x is equal to 1 is another 0, so we'll write x minus 1, and then we'll raise that to its multiplicity, which is 2. So 2. So the last step is we just need to figure out what is this a right here. And to figure out this a, we're going to use this extra information we're given. It says the polynomial passes through the point 0, negative 9. So what we're going to do is plug in a 0 wherever we see an x, and then plug in a negative 9 as the output of f of x. So here's what we can write. Negative 9 is equal to a times, we're going to plug in a 0 wherever we see an x. So we'll say 0 minus 3, which is just negative 3, times 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. Now negative 1 squared, that's negative 1 times negative 1, that's just a positive 1. So we just have 1. So we'll say negative 9 is equal to negative 3 times 1 times a, that's negative 3a. To solve for a, we can divide both sides by negative 3. And we'll find that a is equal to negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. So for a up here, we're going to write a 3. So we'll say 3. So this is our final answer. So this answer is in factored form. If you wanted to, you could multiply all of these values out and you could get the answer in standard form, which would look like this. So either of these answers would be considered correct.